Hey, welcome to Squarebody Stuff. I'm Chad, your host. We got old Squeaky here. He's my 78 step side that I call him my race truck because we're just kind of playing around with him. I don't have much of other use for him, so just started playing around with him to take him to the drag strip and make him faster. I'll put some cards up here in the corner to kind of get you caught up on the past videos on this truck, or go down the description below and check that out, because I'll have a link to the playlist that has all the videos of this truck if you want to get caught up on it. And if you like what you see here, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can always get, and I'll hit that little bell, because that little bell, when you click it, it'll send you notifications every time I put a video up, if you want that. If not, just click the subscribe button and you should still get a few notifications. Anyways, this video is kind of going along with our last 3 videos I put up. Like I said, I'll put the links up in the corner here of setting up our nitrous system on this little truck. And it's just a 305, so it's not going to be that spectacular. But anyways, I'm building a standalone fuel system for the nitrous setup. And the last video, I fabricated a little fuel cell. It's probably about 3 gallons or so. I'm going to put in this toolbox in this area right here with the nitrous bottle. But the whole purpose of this video is we're just going to be putting some Red Kote sealant inside the tank. So if you've wondered how to seal up a fresh tank that you've just built, if you may have some pinholes, or you got an old fuel tank like on a lawnmower or a 4-wheeler or ATV or whatever it might be, if you got an old metal tank, and it can even be plastic, I think, but if it's got a few pinholes in it, you can put this Red Kote in there and it'll seal it up. I've used it before and it works really good. So we'll get in the shop and I'll show you what it's all about. Well, I'll show you the little tank that I fabricated the other day, or I think it was yesterday, to go in our toolbox. It's just a 7 by 8 by 16, so it's going to be, I think, roughly around 3.5 gallons. Just got a fuel neck off of actually a Squarebody I cut and fit in there. Got a spot for a vent, and of course our outlet down there. I'll have an AN fitting, or actually a shutoff valve and an AN fitting and all that stuff attached to that. But we're going to be coating this thing because I didn't really worry too much about making sure my welds were 100% sealed, watertight, because I knew I was going to be coating it with this stuff. I did get some pretty decent welds on it, not too bad for an old has-been. But we're going to coat it with this Red Kote. You can get it online about anywhere. I got it from O'Reilly's. They had to order it in. They didn't have it on the shelf, but some of them do, some of them don't. My local one didn't have it on the shelf, but it's around $35, $40, something like that. So it is kind of expensive for a quart. I have used this before on a fuel tank that I've fabricated for my rock crawler. It's an old K5 Blazer 79 model, and I built about a 15-gallon fuel cell for it out of mild steel, and I coated it with this stuff right after I built it and everything. Doing the same thing we're doing here, and that's been about 5 or 6 years ago, and so far there's no leaks. The stuff's holding up great, so it's a pretty good product. And we're going to go over real quick on how to do it. It's nothing hard, just a little bit of a process, so I'll take you through it. Okay, I've already got the outlet plugged, and I'm going to leave the vent hole open for right now. First thing you'll need to do is get some acetone, and since this is a solvent-based polymer, and this is what you actually use to thin this out. If you need to thin it out, like after it's been sitting on the shelf for a while, after you've used a little bit of it, you need to thin it out, you can use acetone. So I'm going to put probably about a pint or so of acetone in this tank, slosh it around real good, and try to get it all cleaned out and pour it out. And that way the inside's good and clean. You don't have to wait until it's completely dry with this, because this mixes with it just fine. So it doesn't have to be completely dry. I guess you can blow it out a little bit, but it's not necessary. So I'll go ahead and pour some of this in there, get it sloshing around. Got the dogs in the shop today. They decided they want to stay in the shop. I don't know why, because it's kind of hot in here. I turned the fans off, so I might start sweating a little bit. Won't be very attractive, but the fans put off some noise behind the camera, so I wanted to make sure you guys could hear me. And you just sloshed around. I'll take the plug loose and I'll drain it out that. Into some sort of receptacle. I'm just going to use an old laundry soap bin. I'll put a lid on that because I'll probably use some of that to wipe it down or something on the outside if I get some on the outside, and to wipe it down before I paint this. But I wanted to get the inside done before I painted the outside. That way the inside's curing and I won't scratch up the outside doing this process. Alright, I had to plug the fan in. It was getting pretty sultry in here, so I'm going to go ahead and blow this out. You don't have to, but should be good to go. Shake this stuff up. Before we get too carried away, I'll put my plug back in. Now you can just plug this with tape or something to make sure you don't get anything, and so it don't pour out on the bottom, I guess. But the vent, I'm just going to put a piece of tape over it. And a couple pieces. And this vent and the outlet, they stick up inside the body or inside the tank, maybe about 3/8 of an inch or so. So they're not flush on the inside. Same thing with the filler neck, it's probably about a 1/2 inch. So really, as long as I don't put too much of this stuff in there all at once, shouldn't really get down into threads too much. But this way it won't pour out everywhere. It'd also be a good idea to put some rubber gloves on. Alright, now see how much of a mess I can make with this stuff. And you just nice and slow, work it around. Make sure you get everything covered. Use a flashlight to look inside and see how it's going. like I'm gonna probably need some more. Okay, I pretty well got it all sloshed around. I mean, it's been several minutes, just been tilting it up, propping it up on this can, and just kind of letting it slowly run down to one corner, and then roll it again, let it roll down to the next corner. And what that does, I mean, it'll just still slowly just coat all the way around, and it's pretty well done sloshing around. I'll try to get this, I don't know if you can see in there. Not a good way to get this camera in there. I wish I had like a bore scope or something, but anyways, it's all nice and coated inside there. Yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. Just keep rolling it around until there's pretty much not any more pooling up in one corner or the other. And then just let it cure overnight or a day. The longer you let it cure, obviously the better off you're going to be whenever you go to put fuel in it so it doesn't wash out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to paint. Let's wipe down some acetone, the acetone that I would poured out of the tank. Get it wiped down good. And get it ready to paint. I just be using some, it's just Rust-Oleum. It usually does pretty good on metal to metal. To silver, I think it'll look all right. Get shook up real good. Nice light coat. Alright, it's going to take a few more coats. Not a big deal. I'll go ahead and shut the camera off. You guys don't need to watch me paint a fuel tank. But I'll go ahead and get a few more coats on it. That way by the time I get ready to start working on it again after work, it'll be ready to go. And that's about all there is to coating a fuel tank with Red Kote. Like I said, I've done a few other tanks. The one on my rock crawler, which I've been able to look at and know that it's holding up good. I've done some few other tanks that I've built that, as far as I know, they held up great. One was in a diesel. It was like a 30-some gallon tank. Took quite a bit of Red Kote. Took quite a while to get that done, but it was a really big size, big tank. Went across the front of the bed of a truck. But we did that. So I've used this stuff quite a bit. It's a pretty simple process. It could just be time consuming. So just take your time with it, and it'll come out good. It'll be all sealed up, ready to go. So until next time, y'all keep your square bodies rolling, and we will catch you later.